Hello, Bronco fans and football fans everywhere. Welcome to Broncos Breakdown. This is Tuesday, November 2nd, 2021. I am your host, Bronco Bill. This is a recap of Week 8 in the NFL of the AFC West. But before I get into the recap of the AFC West, the Broncos, the Chiefs, Chargers, and Raiders, as you guys can tell, I'm wearing a Von Miller jersey. Super Bowl patch 50 right here. Obviously, unless you guys have not been listening to radio or watching the news or sports or anything of that nature, Von Miller, 11 years in Denver, as the most prolific pass rusher the Broncos have ever had in the history of the Denver Broncos, has been traded to the Los Angeles Rams. Now, when I heard that news yesterday, I was shocked, I was stunned, I was angry, I was frustrated, I was sad. But you know what, guys? Being today, Tuesday, I still am a little bit in disbelief, but I'm accepting it. And here's the reason why, and I'll tell you. The reason why I'm accepting this trade is twofold. One, Von Miller is 32 years old. He's had injuries the last couple of years. He's somewhat injury prone now. He's not as prolific as he used to be, especially back in Super Bowl 50. He's not as dynamic as maybe he could have been if Bradley Chubb had been there for the last 2 or 3 years. Maybe Von Miller would have gotten more opportunities, but we'll never know. Bradley Chubb is prone injury as well. But the other reason that I'm okay with it at this point is because Von Miller is an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. Denver Broncos were not going to pay him what he was asking. And he was asking excess of the high 20,000 or 20 millions into the low 30 millions. And I can't see that for a guy who's injury prone, who's 32 years old, who's played in the NFL for 11 years, and that's a very, very difficult position to play for that long without being injured. Being a pass rusher, making all those, coming off the blocks and making the moves that he's made over the years. Does that mean that I'm glad he's gone? No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I'm glad Miller's gone. What I am saying is the Broncos made a great trade in the sense that we're going to get a second-round draft pick and a third-round draft pick in the 2022 draft in April. Now, does that mean that we're going to get somebody that's a caliber of Von Miller? I'm not saying that either. What I'm saying is Von Miller was going to be an unrestricted free agent. He was not going to take a Denver discount, a hometown discount. He was not going to do that. And why would he? He has a pedigree and a resume that speaks in the high 20 millions and the low 30 millions a year. I get that. I understand that. That's why I'm okay with this. Because at some point in time, guys, as hard as it is, you have to move on. You have to make changes. You have to try and better your team. And Von Miller was going to cost the Broncos dearly if they kept him. And with his injuries he's had in the last couple of years, George Payton couldn't take that chance. And like I said, guys, I'm okay with it. And another reason why I'm okay with it. You see that flag in the background? You see this patch right here on my jersey? Yes. And I want to say something to Von Miller. I know he's probably never watched my channel, but I'm going to say it anyways. Von, thanks for the 11 years you had in Denver. Thanks for the memories that you've given us. The Super Bowl 50 sacking of Cam Newton. And then the touchdown in the end zone. And then the second strip fumble that you got late in the game that resulted in another touchdown. Von, you single-handedly brought Super Bowl 50 to the Mile High City and the Mile High Denver Bronco fans, including myself. I'll never get rid of this jersey. I'll always remember it. I'll always appreciate what you did in Denver. I will always appreciate your leadership and your determination and your drive and the teammate that you were in all the interviews that I heard from you and your character. I will always appreciate that. I wish you all the best in the Rams organization. I hope you win a Super Bowl this year. I just don't want you to terrorize the Broncos if and when you ever play us. Vaughn, thanks so much for the memories. Wish you all the best. 58, man. Always be right in my heart. Thanks so much. All right, let's get to the recap. Week 8 featured the New England Patriots at the LA Chargers. Final score, New England 27, Los Angeles Chargers 24. I love it. I love it for a couple reasons. One, because the Chargers lost and they're in our division. And two, because like I've said many times, I don't like the Chargers at all for various reasons. And I promise you guys I will get into that at some point in time. That dropped the Chargers to 4-3, and it moved the Patriots to 4-4. Now, that game went back and forth, and it was really anybody's game until the very end. And New England held on, like I said, 27-24. The Giants played the Chiefs last night on Monday Night Football. Final score, Chiefs 20, Giants 17. That was another one that the Giants, could have won in the end. But the Chiefs held on, and like I said, they won 2017. That moved the Chiefs to 4-4, and it moved the Giants down to 2-6. Now, the Washington Redskins played the Denver Broncos. You know, guys, I know we won that game. The final score was Denver 17, Washington 10. But to me, it kind of felt like another loss. And the reason why it felt like another loss to me was because of the ineptness and the pathetic play calling of Pat Shurmur. I don't know what this guy sees or what he thinks he sees or why he calls vanilla plays. I don't understand it. If you watched the game last night between the Chiefs and the Giants, you saw some very innovative plays. At least I did. I watched the game because it was a football game, but also because the Chiefs in our division were playing. I was cheering for the Giants. But I saw some very innovative plays. I'm thinking, why can't Pat Shurmur do that? Why doesn't he do that? And then I started thinking. And I started looking at some of these other teams. And I'm looking at the Buffalo Bills. And I'm looking at the Chargers. And I'm looking at some of these other teams, the Cardinals, that have either young quarterbacks or young coaches or both. And I think and feel and believe that those young quarterbacks and those young coaches are doing different schemes and they're doing things new and they're trying different ideas and they're trying different plays and different movement on the line. And now every now and then you'll see, like again I saw last night in some games on Sunday during the day, that there's a receiver will be on the end, and then he'll come in motion, and he'll motion like right behind the tight end, and then he'll swing behind the running back and the quarterback. That's something different. Does Denver do that? No, because Pat Shurmur, in my opinion, and Vic Fangio are old school. They're rust, in my opinion. They're turning rusty. They're not making changes. They're doing things that used to be done 10, 15, 20 years ago. Doesn't work now in the NFL. And the reason why Denver looks so vanilla and looks so inept is because the defense of other teams have seen it before. They've seen those kind of run plays. Hand the ball up, run in the middle. Hand the ball up, run up the middle. There is no imagination. There is no ingenuity. There's no what I'm trying to look for is there's no imagination. They're not doing things differently. They're doing things old school. And other teams have seen it. And when Denver had a chance to run the ball out, leading 17-10, what do? Typical Pat Shurmur. Stupid plays. The last 3 plays that the Broncos ran were this: a run, no gain. Then Terry Bridgewater gets forced out of the pocket, runs to the right, and instead of just sliding down and forcing Washington to take another timeout, he throws an incomplete pass. That stopped the clock. And then Melvin Gordon gets a running play because they want to run the clock, and he fumbles. And Washington recovers on the Broncos, I believe it was 18 or 20-yard line, something like that. And Washington had 2 timeouts because Denver basically gave them the 2 timeouts by an incomplete pass and a fumble that was recovered by Washington. So obviously the clock stops due to a possession change. The only time Washington used a timeout was when on the first play was a fumble, but it was recovered by Denver, so Washington had to call a timeout. Ridiculous plays. Not hanging onto the ball. Not being smart, Pat Shurmur, at all. And then Denver had to hang on, thank goodness, to their defense that won the game. I'll tell you guys, that game felt like a loss. And we have a tough schedule the rest of the way. And I know I picked Denver to win late, in my predictions last week. But part of me felt like that game we could have lost. And in some ways we did lose. Not in score, but we lost players again. We lost Garrett Bowles to an ankle injury. He's listed day to day. And then we lost Bryce Callahan to a knee injury, and he is out for several weeks. They don't think it's going to be surgery. And apparently it was not a torn ACL or MCL, but he is out several weeks. So those are 2 more starters out again. So what I'm saying, guys, is Denver, even though we're 4-4, it's an ugly 4-4 because we can't beat anybody with a winning record. Remember, we started out by beating Jacksonville. Then we played the Giants and beat them. And then we played the Jets and beat them for a combined 0-9 to start the first 3 games. Then we lost 4 in a row to teams with a winning record. And then we beat Washington barely, in my opinion, to a team that was 2-6 with the loss. Now, Denver did go to 4-4, but like I said, it is a misleading 4-4. Now, does that mean that I think and feel that Denver can somehow, win 4 or 5 more games? I absolutely do not see that. I don't see it. And even though we won the game, I'm frustrated because we still have Fangio and Shurmur. Instead of trading Von Miller yesterday, they should have fired, George Payton should have fired Vic Fangio and Pat Shurmur. That's what I think they should have done. That would have been the best scenario, but he didn't do it. And I'm not sure why he's not doing it. Maybe because he doesn't feel he has anybody that can step in at this moment in time and do anything better. That's a possibility. But Fangio and Shurmur is not the answer. Absolutely not the answer. And as we go forward with the remaining part of the season, there are no easy games left, except for Detroit. And Detroit hasn't won a game yet. But if they do get to 500 or a winning record somehow, some way, we'll probably lose that game. What can I say, guys? What can I say? Yes, we beat Washington, but it was a very non-thrilling way to win, especially with all the mistakes and whatnot. I do want to point out a few players that played absolutely out of their mind. And that was, one of them was Shelby Harris. He blocked a field goal. And then I believe there was another one, there was another block field goal. I can't remember the guy's name at the moment. The announcers were saying they thought it was Harris, but then after a second look, it was a lineman next to him, and his name escapes me. I'm sorry. Those two field goals were very important because had they made those field goals, it would have been 17-16 when Washington recovered that fumble. They kick a field goal, they win the game. That's why it felt like a loss in some ways, except for Shelby Harris blocked field goal as well as the other blocked field goal. Then there was Justin Simmons. That guy played out of his mind as well. He intercepted two passes, both of them in the end zone. One of them right before halftime, and then one of them they gave the ball back to Denver before they fumbled it twice and gave it back to Washington. He played out of his mind. Patrick Surtain was all over the field. He was playing great defense and corner. What a great draft pick that was. I still think that was the best draft pick, and not taking Justin Fields and taking Patrick Surtain Jr. Or Patrick Surtain II. That was an amazing pick. So that takes me into the predictions for Week 9 of the NFL AFC West. Let's start out with the Raiders at the Giants. Now the Raiders are 5-2. The Giants are 2-6. The Giants lost to the Chiefs on Monday night, and the Raiders were on a bye. So the Raiders at 5-2 are actually one full game ahead of the Chargers, and they are 2 games, or 1.5 games, I should say, ahead of Denver and Kansas City. I have the Raiders winning this game. Now, I know the Giants played the Chiefs tough, but the Chiefs are 4-4, and the Chiefs are not the Chiefs of yesteryear or even 2 years ago. They look like a shell of the team that went to the Super Bowl. Again, I think something's wrong with Patrick Mahomes. I think the defensive coordinators of other teams have figured him out. I just think that whatever defensive schemes they're throwing at the Chiefs, the Chiefs coordinators and coaches and even Patrick Mahomes is not picking up on it. Raiders are a tough team. They're a strong team. I don't see the Raiders losing this game at New York. The Giants are just not that good. And the Raiders pass rush, I think, is just going to have a field day with this quarterback. I got the Raiders winning that game. And if that happens, they'll go to 6-2. Now, the next game is the Chargers at the Eagles. Now, the Chargers lost to the Patriots, and the Eagles beat the Lions 44-6. But the Eagles played the Lions. The Lions are nobody. The Lions are 0-7, 0-8. The Lions are a mess. The Chargers, playing New England, everybody thought the Chargers would beat New England. I even said that last week. I thought the Chargers would beat New England. But again, on any given Sunday, anything can happen. Do I think that the Chargers at 4-3 will beat the Eagles 3-5 in Philadelphia? Yes, I do. Unless they have a performance like they had against New England. I don't know that if they're going to. I'm not aware of any major injuries or anything of that nature. Yes, traveling to the East Coast, time zone and whatnot, can be effective in wearing down a team, jet lag, that kind of thing. I still think the Chargers will beat the Eagles. So I have them going to 5-3. Now, the Packers play the Chiefs at Arrowhead. Packers are 7-1. Chiefs are 4-4. The Packers beat the undefeated Cardinals last week 24-21. And we all know that the Chiefs beat the Giants last night on Monday night. Do the Chiefs bounce back and do they beat the Packers? I don't think so. I have the Packers winning this game. Because again, the Chiefs are a mess right now. And they've lost 3 games at home, which is unheard of usually from a Chiefs team of late. Like I said, the Packers are 7-1. Aaron Rodgers is on fire ever since week 1. He seems to have, just rolled out 7 straight wins. So I don't see the Packers losing this game. They can, obviously. I mean, like I said, on any given Sunday. I just don't see the Packers losing to the Chiefs, even at Arrowhead. That brings me to the last game in the AFC West, Denver at Dallas. Denver's 4-4, Dallas is 6-1. Dallas beat the Vikings last week 20-16. They should have lost that game. The Vikings were there. Vikings should have won that game. But Dallas held on. Dallas pulled it out 20-16. And then Denver, of course, beat Washington 17-10. Dallas, guys, has a record of 6-1. That tells me one thing and one thing only. Denver's not winning this game because they're playing a team with a winning record. Sorry, guys. I have to be honest. I have to be truthful. I have to be and say exactly what it is. I can't sugarcoat this. I'm not going to. I'm not going to say, oh, yeah, Denver beat Washington and now we're coming back and we're on a roll and blah, blah. No, that's not happening. Not with this coaching staff. Absolutely not with this coaching staff. Now, if Dak Prescott can't play, well, he played against the, he did not play against the Vikings, and the Vikings still lost and Dallas still won. Doesn't matter who Denver faces. I mean, do you guys forget we lost to Case Keenum in Cleveland? Yeah, we can lose to a backup quarterback. Doesn't matter if Dak Prescott's not in the game. Denver is not winning this game, guys. It's not happening because Dallas is a winning team and they're 6-1. I hope Denver wins. I always hope Denver wins. I just have to be truthful, honest, forthright, and not a homer and not sugarcoating. So I have Denver going to 4-5. The Chiefs going to 4-5. The Chargers going to 5-3. And the Raiders going to 6-2. That's how I see it, guys. I hope I'm wrong. Hope I'm wrong on all of them. Well, not the Packers beating the Chiefs, but I hope I'm wrong about the Chargers and the Raiders. But I don't think so. And I probably will bet my bottom dollar I won't be wrong on the Bronco loss against the Cowboys either. That's it, guys. That's all I have. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. We'll talk to you next Tuesday after Monday Night Football. Have a wonderful week. Have a great football weekend. And thanks again, guys. We'll talk to you then. Bye-bye.